Team, welcome firstly to the new Made by James office setup. I'll be doing another video on that separately, but this video is a big thank you to you. The reason that you're here with me now is because you pre-ordered my book, Made by James, your creative, what is it? The Honest Guide to Creativity and Logo Design. I should probably get that right.
You don't know the name of your own book?
No, not yet. I still don't understand why I'm writing a book, Timmy. It's crazy. But yeah, so basically this is just going to be, a little extra value for you. You guys are the true heroes here. I've got this opportunity now to write the book that I've really always wanted, growing up as a young designer. I haven't used this opportunity to, blow my own trumpet and tell you how awesome I am. Instead, what I've done is I've decided to use this book, as a way of really, I suppose, becoming a guide to any creative growing up in the industry, even you're starting, in the middle of your career, at the end of your career. I think there's going to be a little bit of everything for everybody. And basically, it's just a book of value based around creativity, logo design, but not just about, the process of logo design and the process of creativity. I think it's also super important to talk about the process of humans. Firstly, I think it's only right that I give you a little bit of an insight into what the book contains. This is kind of what it looks like at the moment. It's all written. It's just a matter of getting it printed and edited, which is great, but to kind of give you a little bit of insight into some of the stuff that goes on in the book, it's kind of broken down into 6 chapters. So the first chapter is a bit of an introduction into me, my childhood, how I grew up, schooling and all that kind of jizz. Let's call it a bit of a scene setter. And then from there I kind of break it into like the past, present and future, where I talk about, things like my first agency job, starting up Baby Giant, freakishly, weirdly, this whole Made by James journey that's happening. And then straight after that, we jump fully focused into my personal approach to logo design. Let me just get that one here. So I talk about things like why I draw, wait there, I'm just random here, protecting the asset, how to look after yourself with clients, discovery calls, God crikey, there's all sorts of shit here, Timmy. The importance of language. So that kind of breaks down, how to basically protect yourself in the process, how to, smooth through the process and make it as seamless as possible. And then I go into things like case studies, so I talk and break down like individual projects that I've done and how I've come up with ideas. And then basically, I could talk you through it for ages, but basically this book is the book I wish I had growing up. It goes through every single detail, every single tiny little element that I've always thought that's really interesting to talk about. How do we price? How do we deal with negative clients? How do we stay creative? How do we have longevity in the industry? It's not about me dictating how you should live your life and how if you do these 10 things, you're going to be a millionaire tomorrow. It's none of that bullshit. It's pure honesty and authentic advice from a designer, me, who's in the industry right now, and everything I've learned. And I think this is going to change the game. So, setting the scene, early 2020, COVID's hit, the world seemingly going to shit. What's the date now? Where are we now? We're like 3rd of Feb now. Thanks, Timmy, for being my calendar. the book's written, the visuals are done, we're just going through the editing stages. So, it's basically been a year to date, and still a bit way to go before obviously the book drops in November. When I get asked things like, how do I think this book happened? Whilst chatting to Janine and the team and the editors over at Quarto, they saw like a real affinity for my honest and authentic approach to how I approached design. I said approach twice then, but it's important. So how I approach design, and also how I approach communicating to others, with that kind of honest and authentic tone, which I think is a really good segue into highlighting the conversation we're going to have now, which is the power of being open and honest, not just with your design process, but also with your life. Being open, honest, vulnerable, authentic, these things just don't happen overnight. It took me a long time to become comfortable with who I was. Obviously always being told like you'll never get a job if you've got tattoos, or you'll never make money out of art, when you're growing up. These are quite tough things to kind of get through, but as you get older, you start to realise that your real superpower is your own individual personality. That's what makes us unique, and the power to be able to deliver that through your work, through your process. I know personally like people don't come to me like for my logo work, they come to me for my process. They even tell me that they know me really well because they've seen me, they ask me how my dog is, they ask me how Kate is because I put myself out there. But it's very important for me to highlight the fact that this doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to find your style. Basically what I implemented about 5 years ago was I really focused on the process. So I made sure that I was fully zened with who I was, unapologetically James. That's very difficult to say. Unapologetically James. Did it twice. The power I found in just being myself really allowed me to find this real clarity in vision, my purpose, what value can I bring, who do I want to be moving forward. And I say that process that I implemented, not just, so I can break that down into two, which is the process of design and sharing my design process and my design journey through sketches and all the rest of it. But then there's also the process of sharing my personal journey, opening up about the good, the bad and the ugly, get some sort of like Western shit going on there, do you? Yeah, but ever since I started sharing the really raw, honest, real human side of it, I've found that people have related to it because, life isn't perfect. So what I'm going to start to do now is share some tiny little tips on how you, over time, can practice vulnerability, practice authenticity, and the power that comes with that. Because it's important to remember that vulnerability is a superpower if used correctly. We always have to remember, no one has all their shit together, so why should we pretend that we do? I feel being open and honest about the true stuff that's going on does a few things. It makes you relatable. It allows the people that you're talking to not feel like they're alone. Because you've got to remember that life is full of crap. It's full of a lot of good stuff, but it's full of a lot of crap. And talking to your friends, finding people online that you relate to, having those honest and open conversations about how you're feeling, what your thoughts are, any anxieties going on in your brain. yeah, opening up and talking about these things can really help you to start that snowball effect of being more open and more vulnerable, because we really can't help other people until we help ourselves. Another really important thing that I've found that has helped gain clients and also help myself grow as a designer and a person is showing my mug. It takes time. When I first started videos and stuff, I was very stiff, very robotic, but the more you do it, the more you practice, the easier it becomes. And there's some quick little tips and tricks I can give you here. For example, number one is, for example, when it came to Instagram stories, I would record myself on my camera for ages, multiple times until I was happy enough to share it. But what I personally found by starting to share my face and put my face in front of my brand is that, again, people started to get to know me better, which allowed me to build trust. And ultimately also that transparency led to, it didn't feel like my clients, felt that I was hiding behind my work. I was putting myself out there, putting myself in front of it, opening myself to being, vulnerable and being critiqued and all the rest of it. And, that confidence, the confidence that showing yourself and putting your face in front of your own work gives to your clients is so valuable and important. So, do it. Do it. Just do it. So, numero troisième, that's 3 in franglais for anybody that didn't understand that. Another really powerful way of being honest, especially when it comes to your work, is showing your process. I'm a big fan of this. Like I've mentioned before, people have this perception that drawing has to be good, which is rubbish. As soon as you start seeing drawing as an idea generation tool rather than a piece of art, it becomes a very powerful asset. And also sharing your process allows the viewer, the client, your fans on social media to jump inside your brain, jump inside your design decision-making journey. And this open and honesty around how you come up with your ideas, how your thoughts, what's the word I'm looking for? Generate, or that will do, generate. How your thoughts generate is really powerful. So what I would suggest you do, even if you're working on computer, so obviously I like to draw quite a lot, so at every single stage, when I think there's something cool that I've done, I'll just take a snap of it. And documenting that process. Even if you choose not to share that process, that's absolutely fine, but I would still document it because it's really powerful learning tool for you in the future. And one day when you feel that you've got the confidence to start sharing your work a bit more, it becomes a great set of content that you've already got there ready to share with the world. So definitely share your process, open up about it, because it is a great way to get clients. So last but not least, it's the power of just finding people with a similar vibe to you. The internet is vast, social media is vast, it's very easy to connect with people that have similar values, similar skill sets, similar life journeys. So what I would do, and what I found really powerful, is connecting with other people, reaching out to people on their DMs, like emailing them, and just commenting on their work and just getting to know people, I found has been a fantastic facilitator for my personal growth, especially when you surround yourself with like-minded people who think the same, have the same values. It's a really great space, a safe space. Let's call it a safe space. Using social media as a connection tool is powerful. As I said, like dropping somebody a DM, liking their stuff, organising calls with people. Make sure to seek out like-minded people, absorb them, stay close to them, help them through their times, they'll help you through your times. And if you've ever got any struggles or thoughts, they're always going to be there for you. It doesn't have to be like your best friend at home or, your mum, your dad, your grandparents, your siblings. You can find great people online, and sometimes sharing with somebody who's not in the situation that you might be in is a much more powerful tool. So just go and find people, go and seek out the people who are like you and embrace their friendship. There you go. This was my little gift to you. Again, thank you so much for buying the book. It means a huge amount to me. But let's go back onto this. Vulnerability, honesty, authenticity, openness. These things take practice. I'm not saying tomorrow after you've watched this, you just go out to the rooftops and shout your darkest, deepest secrets to the world. Like I said, find some people to find solace in, have conversations with, do some research about, if you're feeling anxious, read some books about anxiety, try to understand why you feel the way you do, because the only way you can fix something is if you understand it. It's the same with anything. I'm a big lover of books by Brené Brown, all about honesty, courage, bravery, and being vulnerable. And you've got to see these things as really powerful assets, not just for you personally, but professionally, because I guarantee you they will help. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, me and Timmy have really enjoyed shooting it. So I'm excited for you to read the book. It's dropping, gotta remember what it is, 2nd of November, I think. But you know me, I'll always keep you updated. So thanks again, it's been a pleasure. I love you, and we will chat soon.